and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and this one's actually kind of special because I decided with graduation season upon us that I actually wanted to create a house that looks like a graduation hat. So this is me trying to figure out what I want this thing to look like. So those, the hats with the like square off-centered like board on the top of your head that's uncomfortable to wear, that kind of thing. That's the thing I'm talking about. And the front of it usually has kind of like a point, so I was trying to do that, but I wanted us to still be able to put a door in. So you can see at the front I've kind of got like a flat space that's supposed to be representing that, and I wish I could do like a round build, but we can't quite do that in The Sims, so it's a little more angular, but I think it gets the point across. And then creating this really crazy looking like ceiling was kind of insane. But I think it turns out really awesome in the end. I do experiment with a lot of like porch deck space and like fencing and stuff, but I thought it ended up taking away from the build, so I do take those out eventually. But I did want to say, if you are graduating this semester or over the summer, congratulations. I am proud of you, whether it's 8th grade graduation, high school graduation, college graduation, graduate school graduation, tech school, whatever. That's awesome, and I'm really excited for you. So if you are one of those people that is graduating, leave me a comment down below so I can congratulate you. And of course, leave a comment also if you have any other really cool build ideas or just video ideas in general. I would love to hear them. But anyways, I'm sitting here trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do this porch, which I ended up taking out in the end, but I thought it was kind of funny watching me do it, so I kind of just left that in there. But I don't know why I didn't just like draw a fence, but I did. Don't worry, the pillars that I put at the corners of like the hat are gonna go. I use them to help me actually see where the hat was, because the shadows make it really difficult to see where it actually lines up with the rest of the house. So I just put those there to give me an idea, so I kind of know what's going on. But anyways, like I said, that ends up going in the end. I really wanted it to work, but then even when I was trying to do the front, like to put stairs on it, it didn't really match up with the door very well, so it was not happening. And it was also kind of difficult because I wanted it to be all black, and I know that like some graduations, like you have like different colors, but I just went classic black for this. But also, the blacks in the game don't match, so I tried my best to make it all look the same and cohesive. I think I did a decent job, and it was actually kind of difficult. It took me a minute to find like plain black flooring and a plain black wall swatch, because a lot of it has a pattern or something like that on it. And this is me actually just trying to determine what this floor plan is going to look like, since I needed a break from the porch deck area and I needed to like move on to see something different. So we're messing around here a little bit, and I started with this like just black and white theme to kind of bring the exterior inside. I do end up introducing some more warm tones, and I do end up changing the cabinets a little bit to incorporate some like browns, so it's not quite as like kind of cold looking as it is right now. Not that that's a bad thing, just not for, I wasn't what I was looking for this build. And so I end up actually, there's a lot of room in this build. And when I started, I wasn't sure how big this was going to be. I'm wondering if this actually could be a tiny home, but because of the roof, since I ended up basically using like a platform situation, I think that also counted as like floor tiles. So the game's reading it as having like a ton of floor tiles when that's not actually the case. But this is the point when I actually started bringing in this like burgundy color, which I kind of went with for the rest of the build, like a light pink burgundy. And I am happy. I've had some issues lately with move objects, so the ability to like intersect things and like move them around like this, and like it deleting things randomly in my build. So luckily that did not happen in this build. Everything did stay where it was. Hopefully if you download this, and it is on the Sims 4 gallery. My Sims ID is spicensprinkles. It's down below if you want to see how to spell it. But if you want to download it, it should work. Just use bb.moveObjects when you place it, so nothing like deletes itself. But like I said, this actually ends up being a fairly spacious space, because I end up having a nice dining space, and then I end up even incorporating like an office area. I figured maybe like pulling, and I tried to pull on some stuff from the university pack, which actually I used outside too. Some of the elements that I put in the landscaping come from that. But I tried to incorporate some of that, or the idea that maybe like they had a desk area that just graduated, so they just have like an office space in there. But again, if you just graduated, you probably don't have a huge home. And so I just kind of want to keep it small, make it kind of like, I would say, not a starter home in terms of price, but in terms of maybe size. Because I think it came out to roughly 60,000 simoleons. And we are in the Newcrest neighborhood on the Optimist Outlook lot. You can see it in the top left corner as well. But of course you can put this lot anywhere, but I think it's a 40 by 30, if I'm not mistaken. So you'd want to put it on a lot at least that big, otherwise you'll lose some of the stuff that ends up being outside, which again is not that big of a deal if you don't care about that, or if you just want the house itself and not necessarily the landscaping, because the landscaping is a little interesting. I will say that, but I won't spoil it yet. But I did want to put like the college degree in here, thinking like it's for, you know, graduation and everything. I do shift it over into what will be the office space, and I was thinking about putting in a fireplace, but I opted not to because I wanted to have that like desk space available. And so I think honestly, I really like the interior of this build. I think it came out really nicely. And like I said, I pulled in, so not like burgundy, the really dark, but that like light pink kind of on the walls to bring the carpet and the rug in from the kitchen. And then just leaving the rest of it like ended up being a lot of those brown tones, which is why I go back and change it. The stuff in the kitchen to kind of match that. And then I thought maybe I would just put some like awards and stuff like university related on the wall over the desk. Maybe they got some stuff from their time in university and they wanted to keep it on the wall. So I'm just adding a little mirror. And this is not a super cluttered build, which is, I think, nice. A change of pace for me. And don't worry, the mirror that I use in like all of my builds does make an appearance, and it will be in the bedroom. So it will be here shortly. And right now you see I've got like gray and white striped wallpaper in the bedroom. We do end up changing that because like I said, I kind of changed directions on what I wanted. And here I am messing with, I like the idea of like making a sectional sofa for the living room, but there just wasn't quite enough space. Like those were actually very large sofas, and then you see me like struggling for a while to try to pick an end table. Story of my life, they're just so large. And then I gave up, and then I come back to it again later because I was just like, I have no idea what I want to put there and how much space is going to be there, and I didn't want to take a ton of room. And then I end up just putting like the little stereo there, and you've got a TV, so lots of stuff to entertain yourself, and the TV. So lots of things to do. So I think it'd be a pretty versatile build for your Sims. And of course you can edit it and change stuff, you know, as you please. And then I did bring in some of that stone to warm up the space a little bit, and that is from the university pack. So again, like I said, I tried to pull some of that in, but I think I end up using a lot of packs anyways. And I know I've said it before, I need to actually try like a base game only build or something, because I don't think I've ever done that. But I do end up using this like tiny little, like, I think this is from the bowling pack, the little end table. And then I think I used those in the bedroom as well, because the way I put the bed, there wasn't like a ton of space. And then I did size down those magazines because they were just really large. And there was, yeah, changing over. I still have like the black countertops, but the cabinets changed to that wood tone, so it's a little bit warmer. And then I was trying to do something like different than what I use in the rest of the house, like trying to put some paneling or something, but it just, I don't know, it didn't look quite right. So I brought in the pink paint and then the stone. I put it on those two sides. And this is a very, like looking at this now, this is a very interesting shaped room. And then it took me a minute to figure out exactly what kind of bed I wanted and then what kind of curtains I wanted. I definitely wanted curtains to like frame in that area, but I wanted ones that like fit well, but that didn't like take away from the rest of the room. So I think I ended up just, yeah, landing on these, which I believe are also from the university pack, and then just adding in like a fluffy rug. I feel like I use that in all of my builds, some form of it, whether it's a smaller or larger or like that weird shaped one that I was trying to use earlier. I feel like I always use them. And then I do end up putting like a little like poof ottoman thing next to the mirror, so there's like a space like for you to get ready and like sit and tie your shoes, whatever. And then I do end up putting a dresser over on the other side, which while I was building, I was determining that the dressers in The Sims 4 are huge. Like, just look at that. It just didn't, and I think it's because of the shape of the room. I was just like, why is this so big? So I opted to do that, that white one that you see here now, that just kind of in the corner, so it didn't take up quite as much room, and it just made a little more sense to me. And then that was actually a picture I was going to use out in the living room, but I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't wasn't feeling it, but I feel like it was nice in here because I also wanted to bring in, so that burgundy we had throughout the main living space, I wanted to bring that into the bedroom so it was nice and cohesive. So I thought that was a nice way to do it. And then I was just looking for a little bit of clutter, and I think the lamp I actually used, I don't even know if I've ever used that lamp before, but it had that right like darker burgundy swatch. So guess what? It ended up in the build. And then I was thinking about putting something over here, and I thought it might be nice, like, especially if maybe they just got done with school, like they had like a calendar on the wall, things like that. And then I just wanted to put something over there just so that it wasn't like quite so empty. And then for the bathroom, this took me a minute because this was like a weird shaped space. But I do figure out, and I think it turned out well in the end. Like there's me trying to like, and if you've ever tried to build on a diagonal, it's very difficult, especially if you're using counters. The game just does not like it. Stuff doesn't fit quite right. So, but I end up actually swapping stuff around, and I put the cabinetry on the other side of the bathroom because that made a lot more sense. And then having the tub over there, because I also wanted to make sure there was a shower. I like the idea of just having a bathtub because it doesn't look as overwhelming in the space. But at the same time, like just from a gameplay perspective, I like the showers better because I don't know, I feel like it's faster for your Sims to just take a shower. I don't actually know if that's true, but that's just what it seems like to me. So I like to include one. And so I end up here, you see kind of like moving stuff around a little bit. And in that corner, I end up using like a little cabinet for like storage. And that was me. I wanted to push it into the corner a little bit, but I didn't want it sticking out of the wall. So I had to check on that. And then just adding a little bit of clutter, so, toothbrushes, I think I put, soap there. And that was definitely interesting because I had to scoot the counters together a little bit because that's really a full size counter and then like one of the end pieces. And then I just brought in one of those little like candle tray things that I like to use, because it adds clutter and light at the same time. And then I think that's just about it for the inside of the house. And then came the task of trying to figure out what I wanted to do on the outside and how to landscape this, because I wanted it to, because of the top of the hat, it like needed a bigger lot to be on, so it made more sense. But then that meant that I had like a ton of room to like landscape, and I was like, what am I gonna do? So I actually ended up scooting it forward a little bit, and then I grabbed out of debug the diploma and just sized it up so you have a diploma next to the graduation hat. And so I thought that worked out really well. On the back corner, it's like this big book statue thing, I think technically from Brightchester, that university in the game, but I end up using it in the back, and I think it turned out really nice. Still has that like college feel, but I didn't want to take away from the hat, so that's basically the big stuff that ends up in the yard. And then I just end up with a little bit of landscaping. I try a bunch of trees, and I think I do it like 2 or 3 times, but I don't end up actually using one at all in this build because, again, I just didn't want to take away from the whole point of the build, which was the hat. And I did wait until the end to put on the tassel because I wasn't sure how I was going to incorporate that or what in the game I was going to use to mimic the tassel. And so anyways, I ended up using like, we'll get to it in a little bit, you'll see me try, but I ended up using like gutters as like the tassels that come down from the roof. So it's not perfect, but if you squint a little bit, I think it worked out really well. And then trying to match a color, I would have liked to have used like a brighter color like red to match like the diploma, or yellow or something like that, but it ended up being like that coppery kind of color. So it contrasts enough with the build to where it makes sense, but it's like not the most exciting color. I wish I could have done something different, but since I ended up using the gutter, I only had so many options because that really just came in mostly neutral colors. So that's why I ended up using the copper. And then in the back, I just ended up, and this is a huge pool for this house actually. Like, I mean, I say this was like a startery kind of home for someone that maybe just got out of university. But this is huge, and pools in real life are very expensive. But anyways, it helped to take up some of that yard space without being like a lot. And I ended up putting some like fountains in there because I thought that would look nice. And then just a grill and a little bit of a living space and some patio chairs. And that's kind of about it. I didn't put a ton out here. I wanted to keep it simple. And then kind of, again, keeping a spotlight on the actual build that your sim would live in. And I had thought about adding like a door that went out from the house to that back portion, but I didn't. I would have had to gotten rid of the mirror and everything in the bedroom, and I didn't want to do that. So I ended up just not. So I just added the stone around the side of the house. There I go, trying trees again, so that you can actually get to the backyard. And then I didn't use a fence because, again, I didn't want to take away from the rest of the build. And so I'm adding in some terrain paint around this diploma. Like, I don't know, it's like a permanent fixture in the yard, which I thought was kind of funny. And I thought about putting some more landscaping in the corner, but I ended up just putting a tiny bit near the diploma and then putting a little bit near the front of the house as well, just so that like there's a little bit of something, but nothing too crazy. And then I think I add like a bench there as well. So that kind of helped. And I added like a driveway. Again, not that we could like use it realistically, but it looked nice, I think, on the lot. And then, yeah, the last thing I think I ended up doing is the tassel, because like I said, it really was annoying me. I wasn't exactly sure how to do it. So here's me adding a bunch of like gutters, and I do end up like raising some of them so they're at different heights, things like that, and just kind of grouping them together. And then I end up just using some different floor tiles and I think a rug or something like that for the middle. But we are nearing the end of this build, so thank you again for watching. And again, congratulations to anybody graduating during this graduation season. So again, let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions, and you can download this off the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to use it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.